Imagine standing in a dimly lit chamber, the air thick with incense, as ancient priests perform a ceremony so powerful it was said to transform the dead into immortal beings. The walls around you are covered in hieroglyphs that have kept their secrets for over 4,000 years. In your hands, you hold a mysterious copper tool, the same instrument that generations of Egyptian priests used to bridge the gap between life and death. This isn't fiction. This isn't mythology. This is the opening of the mouth ceremony, one of humanity's most sophisticated attempts to unlock the mysteries of consciousness after death. A ritual so precise, so carefully guarded, that its full meaning was almost lost to time. In 1922, when Howard Carter discovered King Tutankhamun's tomb, he found something remarkable. The tools used in this ceremony, still lying exactly where priests had placed them 3,000 years ago. But what Carter couldn't know was that these weren't just funeral implements. They were keys to a technology of consciousness that modern science is only beginning to understand. What secrets of the afterlife lie hidden in the rituals of our ancestors? Can ancient ceremonies unlock the gateway between life and death? Welcome, seeker of wisdom, to an exploration of one of humanity's most profound and forgotten practices. Today, we dive deep into the mysterious Egyptian ceremony known as the opening of the mouth, a ritual so powerful it was believed to transform the dead into eternal beings. This is not just another tale of mummies and pyramids. This is the story of how our ancestors understood the delicate bridge between life and death, and the sacred knowledge they left behind for us to rediscover. The opening of the mouth ceremony emerged in the cradle of civilization, along the life-giving waters of the Nile. This wasn't merely a funeral rite. It was considered the ultimate transformation, a spiritual technology designed to awaken the dead to eternal life. The ritual was first recorded in the Old Kingdom period, around 2686 BCE, within the darker depths of the pyramid texts. These ancient writings reveal a sophisticated understanding of the soul's journey after death. The ancient Egyptians saw death not as an ending, but as a transition into a new form of existence. They developed an intricate understanding of human consciousness that went far beyond the simple concept of a single soul. Instead, they recognized multiple aspects of the human spirit, each with its own unique properties and purpose. The Ka, or life force, was seen as the vital essence that animated all living beings. The Ba, often depicted as a bird with a human head, represented the individual's personality and could travel between the world of the living and the dead. The Ak was the transformed, immortal being that one could become after death, but only if the proper ceremonies. This complexity wasn't born from mere superstition. The ancient Egyptians were keen observers of human consciousness, and their understanding of death came from generations of spiritual exploration and insight. They recognized that consciousness itself was multifaceted, operating on different levels simultaneously. This understanding mirrors some of our modern psychological theories about the layers of human consciousness. But how could these spiritual elements survive death? This was the challenge the ancient priests faced, and their solution was both brilliant and profound. They developed the opening of the mouth ceremony as a precise spiritual technology designed to ensure the successful transformation of a deceased person into an eternal being. The three phases of transformation. First, the awakening of the senses. In the first phase, the ceremony focused on literally opening the mummy's senses. The Sem priest, specially trained in this sacred art, would approach the mummy with the Netjerti blade, a copper instrument believed to channel the power of Anubis himself. This wasn't just any tool. It was said to be forged from meteoritic iron, a metal the Egyptians called metal from the sky, believing it carried celestial power. The priest would perform a series of precise movements, touching specific points on the mummy's face. The eyes, to restore spiritual sight. The nose, to restore breath. And most importantly, the mouth, to restore the power of speech and nourishment. Each touch was accompanied by specific incantations, words of power passed down through generations of priests. These weren't random actions. Each movement corresponded to specific energy points that the Egyptians had mapped through centuries of spiritual practice. They believed these points connected the physical body to its spiritual counterparts, much like the meridian systems described in other ancient traditions. The incantations themselves were carefully crafted sound formulas. The Egyptians understood the power of sound vibrations to affect consciousness, a concept that modern sound therapy is only beginning to explore. The precise pronunciation of each word was considered crucial. A single mispronounced syllable could potentially disrupt the entire process. Without this crucial first phase, the deceased would be trapped in darkness, unable to eat, drink, breathe, or speak in the afterlife. This was more than symbolic. It was considered a literal reactivation of the body's spiritual functions. The Egyptians believed that consciousness required sensory awareness, even in the afterlife. And this phase ensured that the deceased would retain full awareness in their new state of being. Second, the journey of becoming. The second phase moved beyond physical senses into the realm of spiritual transformation. Here, the deceased began their journey of becoming an Ak, a transfigured being of light. This phase was incredibly complex, involving multiple priests performing different roles simultaneously. The offerings presented during this phase weren't simple provisions for the dead. They were catalysts for transformation. Each item carried specific symbolic and energetic properties. Bread represented eternal sustenance, but not just physical nourishment. It symbolized the ability to absorb spiritual energy, to maintain consciousness beyond physical form. Water represented purification, but also the fluidity needed to navigate between different states of being. Incense created a bridge between worlds, its smoke symbolizing the soul's ability to traverse different planes of existence. During this phase, priests would recite chapters from the Book of the Dead, creating a kind of acoustic chamber of transformation around the deceased. These weren't just prayers, they were precise verbal formulas designed to guide the soul through its metamorphosis. The Book of the Dead wasn't actually a book about death. Its original Egyptian name was the Book of Coming Forth by Day, a manual for spiritual transformation. The priests understood that this transformation required perfect timing and coordination. Different incantations needed to be recited at precise moments, coordinated with specific astronomical alignments. They used water clocks and astronomical observations to ensure perfect timing, understanding that the cosmos itself played a role in this transformation. Third, the final integration. The third and most crucial phase was the integration of all spiritual elements into a unified whole. This was the moment when the Ka, Ba, and physical remains would merge to create the Ak, the immortal form of the deceased. This phase was considered so powerful that only the most skilled priests could perform it, often after decades of training. The integration phase involved a complex series of rituals that could last for days. The priest would make the final offerings, including the vital opening of the mouth with milk, symbolizing rebirth and renewal. Milk was chosen for its transformative properties. Just as it nourishes and transforms an infant, it was believed to nourish and transform the deceased in their spiritual rebirth. During this phase, the priests would also perform the crucial weighing of the heart ceremony, where the deceased's actions in life would be evaluated. This wasn't just a moral judgment, it was a measurement of the soul's vibrational frequency, determining its readiness for transformation. The heart was weighed against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and cosmic order. This symbolized the need for the soul to achieve perfect balance and harmony before its final transformation. The integration of ancient wisdom and modern understanding. What makes this ceremony so relevant to our modern understanding of death and consciousness? The opening of the mouth ritual reveals a sophisticated understanding of consciousness that modern science is only beginning to grasp. The Egyptians recognized that consciousness wasn't confined to the brain or body. It was a complex interplay of different energetic and spiritual components. Modern research into near-death experiences often reveals reports of consciousness existing outside the body, similar to how the Egyptians viewed the BA's ability to travel beyond physical form. The ceremony's emphasis on reactivating sensory experiences also parallels current studies on consciousness and sensory perception. Recent studies in quantum physics suggest that consciousness might indeed be fundamental to the universe, not simply a product of brain activity. This aligns with the Egyptian view that consciousness could exist independently of the physical body. Their understanding of multiple aspects of consciousness, Ka, Ba, and Aksh, mirrors modern psychological concepts about different levels of consciousness and the complexity of human awareness. The ceremony's focus on sound and vibration as tools for transformation is particularly relevant today. Modern research into sound therapy and vibrational medicine is discovering that specific frequencies can indeed affect consciousness and promote healing. The Egyptian priests' use of precise incantations and sounds might have been tapping into these same principles. Practical applications in modern life. While we may never perform the opening of the mouth ceremony as the ancient Egyptians did, its principles offer valuable insights for our modern approach to death and transformation. The ceremony teaches us about the importance of conscious transition, whether in death or in major life changes. The Egyptian understanding of multiple aspects of consciousness can help us approach our own spiritual development more holistically. Rather than thinking of ourselves as simple, unified beings, we can recognize and work with different aspects of our consciousness, our life force, our personality, our higher spiritual potential. The ceremony's emphasis on preparation for death also offers important lessons. In our modern world, where death is often sanitized and hidden away, we've lost touch with the profound practices that helped our ancestors navigate the greatest mystery of existence. The opening of the mouth ceremony reminds us that death requires preparation, not just physically, but spiritually and psychologically. Ancient wisdom for future generations. The legacy of the opening of the mouth ceremony continues to resonate across millennia. It reminds us that death is not an end, but a transformation. It teaches us that consciousness is more complex and expansive than we often imagine. And perhaps most importantly, it shows us that our ancestors had deep insights into the nature of existence that we're only now beginning to rediscover. As the ancient Egyptian proverb states, to speak the name of the dead is to make them live again. Through understanding these ancient practices, we keep alive not just the memory of our ancestors, but their profound wisdom about life, death, and transformation. Each time we study these ancient ways, we breathe new life into their teachings, allowing them to guide us in our own journey of discovery. The questions they asked still echo through time. What happens to consciousness after death? How can we prepare for this greatest of transitions? What aspects of ourselves continue beyond physical existence? These questions remain as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. Modern science is beginning to catch up with what the ancient Egyptians understood intuitively, that consciousness is far more complex and mysterious than we once believed. As we stand on the brink of new discoveries about the nature of consciousness and reality itself, perhaps it's time to look back at these ancient practices with fresh eyes. If this journey into ancient wisdom has sparked your curiosity, share this video and join our community of seekers. Let us know in the comments what ancient death practices intrigue you most, for in understanding death, we learn to truly live. Thank you for watching.